आप हैरान हो जाओगे, आदिवासियों की आबादी 8% और हिंदुस्तान के जो बजट को बांटने वाले 90 अफसर हैं, उनमें आपका आदिवासी एक अफसर है, उसको पीछे बैठा रखा है। और अगर हिंदुस्तान की सरकार 100 रुपए खर्च करती है तो आदिवासी अफसर 10 पैसे का निर्णय लेता है। आपकी आबादी 8%, आपकी भागीदारी 100 रुपए में से 10 पैसे।
झारखंड में घुसपैठ रोकने के लिए यहां भाजपा सरकार चाहिए। झारखंड की पहचान को बचाने के लिए यहां भाजपा सरकार चाहिए।
रे मोर झारखंड ले जो हायर ले मोर ठिन को नौन के मोर फूलक हायर ले मोर ठिन को नौन के।
The poll pitch is heating up again. And as always, we at the Economic Times are back with the special elections podcast, Polls on My Pod. In this episode, we take you to tribal-dominated Jharkhand, which is one of the 10 opposition rule states in India. And it is now witnessing an interesting contest with BJP-led NDA trying to wrest this mineral-rich state from Jharkhand Mukti Morcha-led alliance. It is Tuesday, the 12th of November. From the Economic Times, I'm your host Nidhi Sharma, and you're listening to the Morning Brief. Our focus is the two-phase election in Jharkhand. Unlike Maharashtra, Jharkhand is a new state formed in the year 2000 by then Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee's NDA government. Since the formation of Jharkhand was culmination of a long-fought battle by smaller regional parties, they remain significant in the state. In fact, Bihar-based parties like Rashtriya Janata Dal and Janata Dal United also retain their hold in certain pockets. But let's start from the beginning. Jharkhand's politics has been fraught with a lot of instability because of the presence of regional players and changing political dynamics. The state witnessed its first election in 2005 after its formation in the year 2000, but no political party could win a clear majority in the 81-member assembly, and the state saw a phase of instability. JMM chief Shibu Soren cobbled up an alliance with RJD and Congress, but was forced to resign within 10 days as he could not prove the numbers on the floor of the house. BJP's Arjun Munda then formed a government which lasted a year and a half. After Munda quit, an independent Madhu Koda became chief minister with the support of JMM and independents. He was again replaced by Shibu Soren as chief minister. The second elections in 2009 again saw a fractured mandate with JMM and BJP getting the same number of seats. JMM managed to form a government under Shibu Soren with the support of BJP. But BJP withdrew support within 6 months and Munda returned to power. This was followed by imposition of president's rule and then again another attempt at government formation under Shibu Soren's son and the current chief minister Hemant Soren. So I know by now you must have lost track of how many times which party formed the government in Jharkhand. But stability came to Jharkhand in 2014 when BJP-led alliance secured a clear mandate. This was a first for any party or alliance since the formation of Jharkhand. The BJP-led government under Raghubar Das lasted its full term. However, it was voted out in 2019 assembly elections and Hemant Soren-led government came to power. This government has also lasted its full term. I am now joined by my colleague from Economic Times Political Bureau, Kumar Anshuman, who travelled to Jharkhand for the assembly elections. He first tells us about the different regions of Jharkhand and which alliance holds sway in which region.
Jharkhand has 81 assembly seats in total, and it has been divided into 6 regions based on divisions. We have Kolhan, where there are 14 seats. We have North Chota Nagpur, there are 25 seats. Then we have South Chota Nagpur with 15 seats. Then we have Santhal Pargana region with 18 seats. And the last is Palamu with 9 seats. If we talk about region-wide, let's say about in 2019. In 2019 election, JMM, Congress and RJD alliance did really well. JMM won 30 seats, Congress won 16 and RJD won 1. So 47. 41 is the majority mark in Jharkhand and they got 47 seats. So to register that kind of performance, you need to outdo the competitor in almost 3 to 4 regions. And that's what exactly this UPA did in 2019. Like in Kolhan, which consists of 14 seats, could not win a single seat in Kolhan. 13 seats were won by JMN and Congress, and 1 seat went to an independent. So you can see the kind of sweep that JMM and Congress had in 2019 in Kolhan region. If we talk about Santhal, another region dominated by tribals, there again, BJP could win only 4 seats. JMN and Congress won 14 seats. So there also it was a kind of sweep for JMM and Congress. So the 2 tribal dominated regions were almost swept by JMM and Congress. The only, I think, 2 reasons where BJP could outdo the competitors was North Chota Nagpur, where out of 25 seats, BJP won 11 and JMM, Congress, RJD won 10. And Palamu, where BJP won 5 seats out of 9 and JMM, Congress won 3.
Jharkhand is a tribal-dominated state with scheduled tribes comprising about a third of the population. The battle lines are clearly drawn in this small state. JMM, led by Hemant Soren, is in alliance with Congress, RJD and the Left Front. BJP-led NDA alliance has all Jharkhand Students' Union AJSO, Lok Jan Shakti Party LJP and Janata Dal United in its fold. JMM-led alliance is well entrenched in the tribal areas and enjoys the support of minorities. NDA has the backing of OBCs and the scheduled caste. But it is really the tribal vote that BJP alliance is trying to woo. Anshuman tells us why and how.
A lot of things are at play in Kolhan at this moment. The BJP is trying to get hold of a portion of tribal voters, plus their dependence on OBC voters. Plus, there are some general seats where the party is trying to perform better. They think that, there was some anti-incumbency against Raghubar Das, and some of the BJP core voters also drifted towards JM and Congress in 2019. This time, they hope those voters to come back. That's why the party has not made an announcement, has not said anything about a chief minister candidate, and it's very carefully taking its campaign forward. The JMM, on the other hand, hinges on the campaign of 2 leaders, Hemant Soren and his wife, Kalpana Soren. Both are campaigning extensively in the tribal region, meeting people, doing small meetings. Now, Congress leaders are also entering into campaigning. Rahul Gandhi will be visiting Jharkhand and addressing rallies on 8th of November or 9th of November. So campaign is heating up before the election, and both sides are trying their best to get a maximum of what they can get out of the first 43 seats that are going to poll on November 13.
Anshuman, since you have really talked about the tribal vote, which is about 26 to 27%, it's a considerable vote. Please, for our listeners, tell us how BJP lost its footing in this tribal constituency. Why is it totally a Hemant Soren, constituency where BJP is trying to make inroads?
Chief Minister Raghuvar Das in 2019, he comes from this region. He was an MLA from Jamshedpur East since 1990. Now, when he was Chief Minister of the state, there were a lot of works were going on and being done, but there were statements in the middle where he talked about, Sarna code. The tribals, they usually follow a particular religion called Sarna code. And, apart from that, there was also some, decisions taken by the government towards non-OBC, and the tribals felt that this was not going their way, as the government was overlooking their interest, and trying to do something which was not beneficial for the Mool Nivasis of Jharkhand. And it's not that this was the first time that BJP did not perform better in that region, because tribals usually have sided with Jharkhand Mukti Morcha. Since the time of Shibu Soren, he led the movement of Jharkhand separation from Bihar, and tribals have always had a soft corner towards the party. But that solidified in 2019, after the 5 years rule of the BJP, the tribals have started moving in large numbers towards JMM, and BJP realized it in between. After Hemant Soren became the chief minister, the party realized it, and that's why you see a lot of tribal outreach program run by the BJP. The current president of India, she is a tribal, and the BJP protected it in a very significant way in Jharkhand, in Chhattisgarh, and parts of the other tribal regions. 2-3 things that did not work for the party was, one, in case of Jharkhand particularly, that when Hemant Soren got arrested, that was fine. The BJP must have hoped that, this will benefit, to put the charge of corruption will stick to Hemant Soren, and the party will disarray. Of course, it happened. Some of the leaders left JMM and joined the BJP. But when Hemant Soren got bail by the court, finally, it was a general sense in the tribal voter is that when I travel around and talk to them, that, some injustice has been done with Hemant Soren. And when Champai Soren became the chief minister of the state, when Hemant Soren was in jail, now Champai is with the BJP. So that also, to some extent, has not gone well with the tribal. So all these things have, disturbed the tribals' mindset. Also, during the Lok Sabha election, there was this talk about some of the BJP leaders talking about change in constitution and all that. And of course, the party denied it throughout the election from the top leaders. Prime Minister Modi assured people, but that message had already passed on, and the people were scared. So all this played in the 2024 Lok Sabha election, and in current election also. When I moved around, I would say that the tribals are still largely with Hemant Soren. Hemant Soren is no longer a weak leader. He's seen as a strong tribal leader who has a consolidated vote bank with him. There are some segments which are siding with the BJP. But second important thing is that BJP still has a strong footage among the OBC voters. Also, with All Jharkhand Students Union contesting an alliance with the BJP this time. In 2019, they were out of alliance. This time, BJP made a decision and have taken them into the alliance. That is also proving beneficial for the BJP to garner that section of votes.
One of the most interesting aspects of the 2024 assembly elections in Jharkhand is how both the camps have put women voters at the heart of their manifestos. Chief Minister Hemant Soren's wife, Kalpana, is the party's trump card. When Hemant Soren had got arrested in January earlier this year, Kalpana, a housewife, was pushed into active politics. She surprised even her own partymen with the ease with which she struck an instant chord with women voters. Going into elections, Kalpana is taking to the people the state government's Mukhya Mantri Maiya Saman Yojana, which promises 2,500 rupees monthly pension to poor women. But Anshuman tells us there is electoral math behind the women outreach.
This is perhaps the first assembly election of Jharkhand Nidhi where women are at the center of election campaign. And the significance of women voters can be understood with the fact that out of 81 assembly seats, there are 32 seats out of 81 where the number of women voters is higher than the male voters. And out of these 32 seats, there are 28 ST reserve seats. Also, about 56% of first-time voters who are aged between 18 to 19 years are women. So this all makes a very interesting data, and there is very intense competition between BJP and the JMM who can offer a better deal to women voters. I mean, you must have seen the manifesto of the BJP and the promises made by the Hemant Soren government. I mean, in August this year, the Hemant Soren government launched Maiya Saman scheme to give rupees 1,000 per month to 50 lakh women. Initially, the scheme was for women aged between 21 to 60 years, but later realizing that the voters above 18 years are important, this scheme was extended for women above 18 to from 18 to 16 years, covering the large voter class of women. BJP also in its manifesto announced Gogo Didi scheme, where the party promised that it will give 2,100 per month to the women of the state against 1,000 rupees which is being given by the Hemant Soren government. Once BJP announced that it will give rupees 2,100 per month, then Soren in his last cabinet meeting approved an increase of Maiya Saman from rupees 1,000 per month to rupees 2,500 per month. And he said that that will start from December, after the election if he comes to power. So both the sides are trying to attract women voters through freebies to different schemes. So the JMM entire campaign hinges on two things. One, the support of the tribal plus minority, and second, the support from the Maiya Saman scheme's beneficiaries. JMM thinks that if together they could hold on these voters, that will take them through the majority mark very easily. For the BJP, they want to encash on anti-incumbency of the Hemant Soren government, labeling corruption charges against them, and also trying to attract these women voters through their promises, which can lure them towards the BJP, which it has worked in Haryana and other elections. BJP is trying to replicate Haryana here in Jharkhand.
While JMM-led coalition is trying to center the election on local issues and welfare schemes, BJP has tried to make it a Mool Nivasi versus outsider fight. This is significant, as about 35% of Jharkhand's population are people who are considered outsiders and are more affluent than the locals. Aware of this sentiment, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has spoken about implementation of Uniform Civil Code or UCC, but BJP is towing a very careful line. It has promised it would keep tribals out of the purview of UCC. Anshuman tells us about the changing demography of the state.
Jharkhand has a sizable, 26% tribal population, around 12 to 13% minority population plus 1 to 2% Christian population. Together it becomes 42%. The JMM Congress RJD believe that this is the voter who is largely with us. So we are sitting on a 40% vote bank. So if we get a portion of other votes, or through our candidates from different communities, if they are able to get another 3 to 4% votes, we will easily cross the threshold of majority. That is what JMM Congress RJD bank upon. BJP clearly understands that, because if this voter unity happens, definitely the India bloc gets an edge over them. So they are trying to break that. So everywhere they're trying to make it tribal versus Muslims. If they are able to do that, tribal versus Muslim in some of the segments, and others people will join the tribals in opposing that Muslim. So that will help the party get additional votes. That's why you see the mention of UCC. Jharkhand is sizable Muslim population, and here BJP talking about UCC makes sense for them because that has worked for the party in Uttarakhand, where they said that they promised that they will bring UCC once they come to power. Here also they are trying to do that, with parallelly driving the point that minorities and infiltrators are trying to capture your land, trying to capture your state. So that's why BJP bringing UCC here in Jharkhand election.
As you can see, a very interesting electoral battle is on in Jharkhand. The state will vote in 2 phases. The first phase is tomorrow, November 13th, and the second phase on November 20th. Ahead of the elections, BJP has tried to cash in on the birth anniversary of tribal freedom fighter Birsa Munda, who hails from Jharkhand. The center has slated a number of programs in neighboring states of Odisha, Chhattisgarh, and Bihar this week. The results will be out on November 23rd. Hopefully, the voters will give a decisive mandate like the previous two elections. This is all for today. Hope you enjoyed listening to Polls on My Pod. We will be back soon with another episode on Maharashtra. I'm your host Nidhi Sharma, signing off. This episode was brought to you by sound designer Amrit Reggie and producer Neil Ghai, executive producers Anirban Chaudhary and Arijit Barman. Thank you for listening, and if you like this episode, do spread the word. All new episodes of the Morning Brief podcast drop every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. It streams on Amazon Prime Music, JioSaavn, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. And of course, ET's own audio platform, ET Play. Have a great week ahead. All clips used in this episode belong to their respective owners. Credits mentioned in the description.